Hey, it's Jared. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm surrounded by two large Bluetooth speakers. I have the JBL Partybox 710 and the Sony XV900. These are both large party speakers that are powered and pack a punch. Now, I was looking forward to the Sony because I wanted a big speaker, and so that was the one that I had my mind set on, but it was back ordered and it took a little while, so I started doing some research and really just looking through the other options because I know that Sony isn't the only player in the game of large speakers. JBL also has some pretty massive speakers, and JBL's known for packing a punch as well. So I decided to order a JBL speaker also. Now, neither of these products were sent to me. This is not sponsored by Sony or JBL, but this video does have a sponsor, and it's my used gear shop. So make sure if you're looking for used technology, link down in the description below to check that out. But the Sony and the JBL, so I know from experience that Sony and JBL provide a different user experience because I've used their other products, their headphones, smaller Bluetooth speakers, and whatnot. And so I was excited to try both of these because they are larger products. Now, I ordered both of these off of Amazon, and the boxes arrived in okay shape, but there were some dents and dings on the boxes, but the product survived unscathed. So no problem there. I've got links down in the description below to Amazon where you can order those, and one other option as well, so you can kind of price shop and see what the best options are. So the JBL Partybox is the one that arrived first, and so when I plugged that thing in, I was blown away by the performance out of that one standalone speaker using a very small, just two-prong outlet plug, and it didn't seem to draw a lot of power. I was pretty impressed. And then when the Sony came in and I got it unboxed and plugged it in, I was impressed in a different way at the audio quality out of it. It wasn't quite as punchy, but it was much more clear and seemed like a more professional audio experience. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the better option for what you're trying to achieve. So let's talk a little bit about the features first. I'll start with the Sony. Now, the Sony has a variety of speakers on the front of it and also some speakers on the top. The neat thing about the Sony is that it doesn't just have to exist as a party speaker that you pull out at parties. You could actually plug it into your TV and use it as a large center channel in your living room. And so because it has a little bit of a cleaner look and it isn't as I guess maybe aggressive looking as the JBL speaker, it would fit better in a living room and not necessarily look so much like, you know, a bachelor with the JBL speaker, you know, looking just a little bit more aggressive. But the lights you can see that are flashing on these speakers can be turned off. The lights are for the party mode, and they're controllable within an app. So whether you're on the JBL or the Sony, you can control the lights. There's also switches on the top of both of these units to control the lighting as well. The lighting on the Sony is a bit more subdued. It's not as aggressive as lighting as the JBL. The JBL has kind of a strobe mode, and so if you were going for maximum lighting effect in a party environment, I would say the JBL definitely wins as far as the lighting goes. But the Sony has more subdued lighting and definitely more like mood lighting than it is flashy party lighting. However, in a dark room, the Sony and the JBL are both going to look good, but I think the JBL is going to win as far as lighting goes. So obviously the first thing that I did was play some loud music. I wanted to see and feel the punch that both of these large speakers would produce. And I've owned large speakers before, just not like this. I've owned self-powered speakers for home audio, and also some self-powered speakers by JBL that were much larger, more for live performance. And those are great. But these speakers, being that they're all self-contained, they include everything that you need, just one power plug on the end. Definitely was pretty cool. And the audio experience out of both of these are really fantastic. The difference in audio quality I would distill down to the fact that the JBL has much more bass and the highs are much more pronounced. You lose a little bit on the mids because of that expanded bass and the pronounced highs. However, with the Sony, you get a more, I guess, grounded experience when the audio is much better in all ranges. It's not as punchy on the bass. And so if you're looking for something that's just going to smack you in the face with lows, the Sony is not going to be that. It's going to have the lows, but it's not nearly as low as the JBL. And I'll give a little bit of an experience there, which I recommend. I'm going to give you an audio example, but I recommend that you put on headphones because the differences that you're going to hear are really just going to be picked up by the microphone, and hopefully that will translate into your headphones where you'll hear the difference in bass and highs and mids and all of that stuff. The Sonys, to continue talking about them, the Sony definitely feels like a better overall audio experience, but you are missing out on those high highs and those low lows. I would take the JBL to a party. I would put the Sony in the living room to have a good audio experience with friends. That really is the difference between these two. So let's talk about some of the other differences. The JBL has some ports on the back of it, and these ports allow you to plug in microphones or guitars and stuff like that, and it's pretty neat what you're able to do. It has some controls on the top to make changes to those audio settings, adding in some reverb and stuff like that. So if you were utilizing it as a karaoke speaker, then that definitely would work. And you would need to provide your own microphone. I did get a wireless microphone with a wireless box that I attached to the back of it that I used for a live event. So on the back of the JBL, it has 2/4-inch inputs with audio levels or gains on the back of the unit. It also has an 1/8-inch audio in, for example, if you were just going to plug your phone or an iPad into it, and also a USB. Now, it also has the ability to daisy chain multiple devices together via Bluetooth or via a cable as well, and it utilizes an 1/8-inch cable to do that. But I recommend going in Bluetooth pairing mode. You use the app on your phone and you Bluetooth pair the speakers together, and they work great. I had 2 of the JBLs, yes, 2, so this is one of them, and I have another one that I utilized at an event, Bluetooth paired together. There was no latency between the two, and my phone was Bluetooth playing to one of the speakers. So Bluetooth to a speaker, speaker to another speaker via Bluetooth, and it was absolutely fantastic. So the JBL, I think for me, was a great experience in a live party scenario where you want louder music, you want it punchier because you want to feel the bass, and you want good highs because you want to hear the clarity in the highs. So obviously you need some utility out of these devices during the times that you're not trying to just blast loud music, and the Sony offers that. The Sony has optical input on the back of it, which means you can connect it to your television. Most televisions have an optical output that can go into another speaker, and that optical will plug into the back, and you'll get great quality audio just using one cable, and you can keep the Sony in your living room. That means that the Sony has much more utility long-term than the JBL, because the JBL is something you'd only pull out if you want to make some noise. The Sony you can use to watch television and movies and all that good stuff, and then unplug the optical cable and roll it out to your next event or something like that where you need some louder music. So both of these speakers also have wheels on the bottom of them that make them very easy to roll, just kind of like a suitcase. You just grab the handle and roll. I would say the JBL has better wheels on it than the Sony. The JBL would be much easier for all-terrain, I guess you can say, going over some bumps and whatnot, where the Sony wheels are much closer to the bottom of the unit, meaning I'd probably hit the bottom of the unit a few times, but it is what it is. The Sony has 1/4-inch inputs on the back of it as well, with gains that would allow you to control the audio inputs. It also has that optical input that I was talking about, which is awesome. It has an 1/8-inch audio jack, so you could plug in your phone or tablet or whatnot, and then it also has a USB. Both of these have USB on the back of them, USB Type-A, and the USB Type-A supports charging your device as well. So you can plug in your USB cable that you would use to charge your phone, and then plug it into your phone. You can provide audio, and you can also provide charging to your phone. through that as well. Now on the top of both of these devices is where their settings are. Both of these speakers can control your audio levels, your bass boost, and your lighting controls from the top of the devices. And there are different lighting settings on both of these as well. Even the JBL, which has more aggressive lighting naturally, can be toned down a bit. You can control the colors, you can control how active the lighting is, and the lighting is responsive to the music that's playing. So it pulsates and moves to the music and tries to do its best to provide a good lighting experience. The Sony does this as well, just less aggressively. And of course with the Sony you can also control colors, and all those dials are on top of the unit. Now one of the unique differences between both of these devices is the fact that the Sony has a battery that will last up to 25 hours of playback time. The JBL does not have a battery inside of it. Now both of these devices are equal in size and height. JBL does have a model that has a battery in it that's significantly more expensive and is larger, but Sony, in regards to this size of party speaker, is the one that includes the battery, and that is a very cool, unique feature. Having the battery in it means that you can take this out to maybe a sporting event or something like that and have music playing without having to worry about plugging into anything. If I wanted to do that with the JBL, I'd have to use my EcoFlow power bank that would of course power that thing for a long time, but it's an external device that I would have to use to power the speaker. Alright, so let's take a listen to both of these devices. As I said before, I highly recommend that you put on headphones so you can hear the unique differences between both of these devices.
For you, I run the world, I run the mile. The way you look at me, I think I'm going insane. It's crazy how we started not to want the love you get. You need me, say my name. Don't ever hesitate. It's 2 a.m. outside when I'm with you, I feel way too high. You know you got me going crazy, baby. I just need to know that you will stay, please, yeah. With you I feel too high. I feel too high. Yeah. It's going on with you, I feel It's going on with you, I feel way too high. Yeah, you got me going crazy.
So what did you think? Which one sounded better to you? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, when it comes to choosing one of these, you're going to have to really look at the features that are important to you. If truly wireless, meaning self-powered, is important to you, the Sony is going to be your option. The Sony has that battery that lasts up to 25 hours. I don't know if at good audio levels it would last that long, but I know that at half audio level, it lasted a whole day for me and had about a quarter of the battery life left when I checked the battery level in the app. Now, the JBL, of course, is going to excel in the area of loudness and punchiness of sound. If you want something that's going to be extremely loud and the bass is going to be great, you only want to buy one speaker, so you want to maximize the amount of sound that you're going to get for the unit that you're purchasing, the JBL is going to be that device, whereas the Sony is going to be that better all-around listening experience for those who want more refined audio. As far as ruggedness goes, I would say that the JBL would probably hold up a lot better. The JBL seems to be a little bit more robustly built, and there's less on the device that I feel would be susceptible to damage. And there's also rubber bumpers on the side that allow you to set the audio box on its side for like a stage type of mounting. And that's great. I think you could probably even stack these if you wanted to. And so the JBL is definitely going to be a better device if you're taking it out and utilizing it in other environments, even though it doesn't have that self-powered battery pack. So I can't speak to the karaoke modes because I didn't try those out. However, I did plug a wireless microphone into both of them, and they both have audio features that make your voice sound a little bit better over loudspeakers, and I could see the karaoke features being really good on both of these devices. What I do like about the JBL is that it has those adjustments on the top of the unit, so I can adjust the levels for my audio coming out of a microphone, or even if I was playing guitar or something like that, right from the top of the device, whereas the Sony, it has more limited audio adjustments there. So what do you think? Tell me down in the comment section below whether you like the louder, more punchy bass audio experience, or you want the more refined overall clarity that you would get out of the Sony. Let's talk about that down in the comment section, and make sure to click on the links in the description to see pricing and availability for both of these speakers. Clicking on the links helps support the channel, so I appreciate it. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for being here, and hope to see you back in another one soon. Take care.